Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today we're thinking about love and relationships poetry, and I'm going to be providing you with everything you need to know for the exam for the poem Follower by Seamus Heaney. Before we get going, don't forget to like and subscribe. There are plenty of things on the channel to help you with English literature and with English language. Okay, my guide to Follower. So we're going to start by thinking about what the poem is about. The poem is about the relationship that Heaney has with his father, and he recollects his father as a younger man when Heaney was a child, ploughing a field, and how he looked up to him. And then at the end of the poem, we are in the present, and Heaney thinks about what an old man his father has become, and how that relationship that they had has seemed to reverse, and how Heaney is almost like the parent to the child that his father has become in his old age. And it communicates these ideas that age and time has taken his hero from him, and age and time changes us all. And it also reflects the idea that he's become a parent to his father, and it's something that is a source of frustration and pain. So if I'm in the exam, my first paragraph is going to be linking the poem to the theme of the question. If one of the two poems that I'd be writing about was Follower, this is what I'd be saying. Follower is about Heaney's childhood memories of his father. He recollects how his father was a strong man who he looked up to, but in time has become almost a burden and a responsibility to him. It explores loss because he feels a disconnect with his father, who is not the man he once was. His father becomes the follower, the responsibility to Heaney, so the title is ironic. And then once I've done that, I'm going to talk about the structure of the poem. And here's what I would say if I was in the exam. The poem is written in quatrains, which move us through the different stages of the poem, and this creates impact when we're taken into the present. The use of slant rhyme, where lines almost rhyme, reflects the idea that things aren't quite what he wishes they were and should be. Once I've done that, I'm going to start analysing the poem itself. I'm only going to be using 3 or 4 quotes from my 2 chosen poems, so I'm not even going to bother looking at my anthology that is filled with noisy annotations. I'm just going to think about the quotes I need to know, and I'm going to take you through the 4 that I'd be using if I was in the exam. We've got his shoulders globed in the description of his father at the beginning of the poem, and what I could say about that is that the use of the verb globed here provides a metaphor. Perhaps he's reflecting on how his father was not only strong, but was his entire world when he was a child. We've got I stumbled in his hobnailed wake, and I can talk about the fact that stumbled could be a metaphor for how he found it hard to live up to his father's example or expectations maybe. And we've also got the idea of his wake here. That's something that a boat at the sea creates as it moves along the water. So this image likens him to a boat, but also wakes are something that we have after a funeral. So this is also eliciting thoughts of death. It's almost as if his father has died, and this is foreshadowing the feelings that he's going to have towards the end of the poem. His broad shadow, and I'm going to talk about the fact that this image is also eliciting thoughts of death. The poem is mournful, even though his father is not yet gone. And at the end of the poem, we've got, it's my father who keeps stumbling. So this is a role reversal at the end of the poem, and the frustrations his father once had are now those of the speaker, Heaney. He feels perhaps exactly as his father did, having to be responsible for him as a child. So there are my 4 quotes to know. You can pause here if you want to and use some time to make sure that you've got those in your memory so that you can recall them in the exam if you need to. Take it further, watch the video again and mute the sound. You do the talking and be the teacher. Think about how you might compare this poem to others like Eden Rock or Climbing My Grandfather, which explore loss in familial relationships. Check out my quotes to know without looking guides to revise the flashcards for the key quotes. I've done those for each of the 15 poems for love and relationships. And let us know how you've got on in the exam by popping back and letting me know in the comments. Check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask something you'd like to see me cover in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and keep revising.